When communicating with other people, there are small, subtle little things that we can do that could trigger a response in the other person to get them not to like us. So today we're going to talk about how to avoid creating enemies, and we're getting started right now. What is up, my winning friend? My name is Zach, and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to reach your potential and crush your goals, start right now by hitting subscribe and tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. You could tell another person they're wrong by a certain look that you give them, or a certain gesture that you make, or just by saying it to them. But when you tell that other person that they're wrong, how do you think that makes them feel? Do you think that makes them really want to agree with you? Absolutely not. When you tell another person that they're wrong, you strike a nerve with that person. It's like a low blow. They're going to come up with everything under high heavens to prove themselves right and you wrong. I mean, how do you react if someone tells you that you're wrong and you believe that you're really not wrong? Most people react to criticism like that in a negative way. They do not take in anything that you're saying. They're not receptive to any information that you're bringing to them. Even if they are wrong, you still can't prove them wrong. You could throw all the logic that science has to offer at these people, but you're not going to win over them and their opinions because you just hurt their feelings. So you never want to get into a conversation with someone and say, I'm going to prove so-and-so to you. That's bad. That's like saying, I'm smarter than you and I'm going to show you a thing or two and get you to change your mind. That's a challenge. That arouses opposition in the person before you even start talking about your point of view. And it's already hard enough to get somebody to change their own mind as it is, so why make it even harder for yourself before you even begin? If you're gonna try to prove something to someone, do it very subtle. Do not tell them that you're gonna prove them wrong. You can go about it in very subtle ways. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. Lord Chesterfield said, be wiser than other people if you can, but do not tell them so. If a person makes a statement that you think is wrong, even one that you know is wrong, isn't it far better to start off by saying, I think otherwise, but I may be wrong. I've been wrong plenty times before. Let's examine the facts. I mean, that comes across a lot more smoothly. You're being humble. You're saying that I may be wrong. I've been wrong in the past, but let's examine the facts. Let's go over this. Let's look at this together and see if this is factual information that we're talking about here. No one's going to object to you by saying, I see it otherwise and I may be wrong, but let's examine the facts. Nobody's going to get mad about that and get in their box and stuff. They're actually going to be open because you're being humble about it. You're showing that, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm not a know-it-all. I just think otherwise and I could be wrong. Let's look this thing over. Nobody's going to get mad at you for that. You can't never get in trouble by taking that approach, and when you take that approach, you're actually showing your opponent that you're being open-minded about the situation and that you're admitting that you could be wrong, and this also makes him want to be open about the situation and admit that he could be as wrong as well. And you get a far more effective conversation that way. Have you noticed that we could change our mind all the time without any resistance or heavy emotion, but if somebody tells us that we're wrong, it's game over. You're sticking to it. It's like somebody trying to control you, and when someone tries to control you, that inner rebel comes apart. You're not going to tell me I'm wrong. I decide if I'm right or wrong or what I like and don't like. Not you, not anybody else. Most of the time we can admit mistakes and admit that we're wrong to ourselves, and if we're handled properly by other people, we'll admit it to them as well if they handle us properly. But if they're sitting there trying to jam facts down our throat and try to make us look less intelligent than what we are, or trying to call us out on the spot, more than likely we won't admit that we're wrong in those cases. I am thoroughly convinced that nothing good comes from straight up telling another person that they're wrong and that you're going to prove them wrong. The only thing that you succeed in doing that is stripping them of their self-dignity and making them an enemy with you. They're going to hate you for it. You're going to be an unwelcome part of any part of their conversation. So the way to go about that, if you have to prove someone wrong, if you just have to do it, is do it very subtle. Do it the, hey, I see it differently. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before. Let's look over the facts. You can even do it in different ways just by simply asking them more questions, digging deeper on the topic and testing their knowledge on the subject, and maybe bringing it about in a very subtle way. But you want to be careful with that. You don't want to tell a person straight up that they're wrong. It's not going to end up in your favor. You're going to burn bridges. You're going to lose on opportunities. It's not going to do anything but stroke your own ego. So think about that next time you want to prove someone wrong, and do the right thing and just take the high road. I hope that was helpful for you, and that next time you're communicating with other people, you'll keep that in mind so you can avoid creating enemies. And if you want to check out more videos on how to avoid creating enemies and communicating effectively overall, check out this playlist right there. Share this video on Facebook, and if you're part of any personal development groups, you can share with your friends there. And if you want to reach your potential and crush your goals, start right now by hitting the round subscribe icon and tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching. See you next time.